Shalom Lekulam! Here's the part 2 of our tour in Palestine. After exploring Bethlehem, we wasted no time and headed straight to Jericho, a remarkable destination that should be on everyone's itinerary when visiting Palestine. To reach Jericho, we had to navigate not only breathtaking landscapes, but also steep, nerve-wracking roads that made the journey feel like a roller coaster ride. The Middle Eastern summer heat was relentless, amplified by the dusty desert terrain that dominates much of the region. Yet, Jericho holds immense biblical significance. It was here that Jesus encountered Zacchaeus, a wealthy tax collector who climbed the sycamore tree to catch a glimpse of him. Jesus noticed Zacchaeus, invited himself to his home, and this transformative encounter led Zacchaeus to repent, vow to give generously to the poor, and repay those he had wronged. Jesus declared salvation had come to his house, underscoring his mission to seek and save the lost. Beyond its biblical legacy, Jericho is renowned as the dates capital of Palestine. Thanks to its hot desert climate, abundant sunlight, and access to water from natural springs like Elisha Spring, Jericho is an ideal location for cultivating date palms. The city is particularly famous for its medjool dates, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, it's also called as the king of dates, prized for their large size, rich sweetness, and soft, chewy texture. The drive from Bethlehem to Jericho took over an hour, but the stunning views and anticipation made it worthwhile. But before continuing our exploration, we paused for much needed lunch break. So I'll see you guys later. Our next stop was the Teleferic and Sultan Tourist Center, where we boarded a cable car that would take us to one of Jericho's most iconic landmarks, the Mount of Temptation. This marked my first time riding a cable car, and I couldn't believe it was happening abroad. Excitement and nervousness filled the air as the cable car began its ascent. Despite the summer heat inside the cabin, the breathtaking view of Jericho made it all worthwhile. From above, we could see the sprawling city with its picturesque homes and buildings, which appeared like miniature toys from this height. As we neared the top, the Monastery of the Temptation came into view. This Greek Orthodox monastery is built into the cliffs of the mountain and marks the traditional site where Jesus fasted for 40 days and was tempted by the devil. The 3 to 5 minute cable car ride brought us to a higher elevation where the heat felt even more intense, almost like walking on burning coals. Visiting during winter might be a more comfortable option, but even in the summer, the view and experience are obviously worth it. Oh, finally, we reached the Mount of Temptation. Standing at the top felt surreal, as though I was witnessing biblical history unfold right before my eyes. The panoramic views were stunning, and the mount exuded a sacred, awe-inspiring atmosphere. Oh, for those who need refreshments or souvenirs, there are shops and restaurants in the area, providing ample options to relax before exploring further. I initially thought our climb ended at the cable car station, but there was another challenging ascent to the monastery itself. As I walked up, I began to feel a mix of excitement, exhaustion, and unease. The steep and winding path was both physically and mentally demanding, making me question whether I should continue. But the thrill of adventure pushed me forward. However, midway through, I decided to stop at the monastery's base. My trembling knees, more from fatigue and fear than age, convinced me to rest and appreciate the monastery from a distance. While I didn't enter the monastery, I still had no regrets. The journey itself was a memorable experience. Okay, just a word of caution, descending the mountain requires extra care due to the steep slopes and strong pull of gravity, so be careful when going down. After reuniting with our group, our guide signaled it was time to return to the base. As the afternoon sun began to set, we embarked on the journey back home, our hearts full of gratitude for the unforgettable experience. Indeed, visiting Jericho was an absolute joy. If given the chance, I would love to return, this time with my family to share the experience. Yala, andito rin at aksyab siyang makad ni Kahorit Yericho. On our way down from the Mount of Temptation, we stopped by the souvenir shop where I couldn't resist purchasing some boxes of dates. Since Jericho is the dates capital, it felt fitting to bring home some of their finest produce, especially as my mom often raves about them. And to wrap up our trip, we visited the sycamore tree, the very tree Zacchaeus climbed to see Jesus. This tree also appears in Amos chapter 7 verse 14, where Prophet Amos tended sycamore trees before being called to serve God. The sycamore tree is a profound symbol of humility, transformation, and the accessibility of God's grace. And that's the part 2 of my Palestine tour. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. Until next time, Shalom!